The situation around Melody Shari's spin-off is being talked about everywhere right now, and the conversation is not calm or simple. People are reacting strongly, and most of those reactions are based on what they think should have happened, not what actually makes sense behind the scenes. When you really look at it closely, the issue is not just about a spin-off moving slowly. It is about expectations, pressure, timing, and the way reality television actually works. Right now, the main idea being pushed is very simple. Stormi moved forward and secured a spin-off, while Melody did not. Because of that, people are quickly saying that Melody made a mistake or missed her chance. But that way of thinking is too basic. It ignores everything that was happening around her while all of this was unfolding. It turns a complex situation into a simple win or lose story, and that is where the misunderstanding begins. Melody was not just another cast member on the show. She was at the center of everything. Her story was not small or light. It carried emotional weight, conflict, and real-life struggles that were playing out in front of an audience. When someone is in that position, it is very different from someone who enters the show later with a different focus. That difference matters more than people are willing to admit. When people say Stormi played it smart and Melody did not, they are comparing two completely different situations. Stormi came into the show with a clear purpose. She was building her brand, showing her business, and using the platform to grow. That is a focused and controlled approach. Melody, on the other hand, was dealing with personal issues that were already public and already intense. She was not just building something new, she was managing something that was already under pressure. That kind of pressure changes everything. It affects how you think, how you act, and how you plan. When your personal life is part of the storyline, you do not have the same freedom to move in a calm and strategic way. You are reacting to situations in real time. You are dealing with emotions, conflict, and public opinion all at once. That is not an easy position to be in. This is where a lot of viewers lose track of reality. They judge outcomes without thinking about the conditions that led to those outcomes. They look at where each person ended up, but they do not look at what each person had to go through to get there. That creates an unfair comparison. Melody's story has already been shown in detail over time. The audience has seen the ups and downs, the arguments, the changes, and the emotional moments. That kind of exposure creates something called saturation. It means the audience has already consumed a large part of her story. So when it comes to creating a spin-off, the question becomes very important. What new story can be told? A spin-off needs something fresh. It needs something that feels new and different. If the same story is repeated, people may lose interest. That is a risk that producers always think about. They are not just looking at who is popular, they are looking at what kind of content can keep people watching over time. In Melody's case, creating something new is not impossible, but it is not simple either. If the spin-off goes back to old issues, it can feel repetitive. If it tries to move in a new direction, it requires a strong shift in how the audience sees her. That kind of shift takes time and careful planning. Stormi's situation is different in this way. Her story brings new elements that have not been fully explored yet. Her business, her lifestyle, and her daily operations offer something visual and different. These are things that can easily be turned into episodes that feel fresh. This does not mean one person is better than the other. It simply means the content they bring is different. Another important part of this situation is control. Melody has been building her own platform outside of the show. She has her own projects, her own audience, and her own way of connecting with people. This gives her a level of independence that not everyone has. When you have that kind of control, you do not depend fully on a network to stay relevant. Because of this, the idea that she is losing out may not be accurate. She may be choosing a different path, a path where she has more control over what she does and how she does it. That kind of decision is not always visible to the public, so it often gets misunderstood. At the same time, the way people see things still matters. Perception plays a big role in how stories are told online. Right now, the perception is that Melody was left behind while someone else moved forward. That perception is driving the conversation, even if it is not fully correct. Criticism is also growing, and some of it is focused on how she handled situations in the past. People are saying she spent too much time dealing with conflict instead of building opportunities. While that may sound true on the surface, it ignores the fact that those conflicts were part of the show itself. They were not optional. They were part of the environment she was in. When your real life becomes part of entertainment, it becomes very difficult to separate personal issues from professional decisions. Every action is seen, judged, and discussed. That creates pressure that most people do not fully understand. Another factor that people are starting to talk about is burnout. Being in a high-conflict environment for a long time can be exhausting. It can affect your energy, your focus, and your mental state. At some point, stepping back is not about giving up. It is about protecting yourself. If Melody chose to slow down or step away from certain opportunities, that decision may have been about her well-being. It may have been about taking control of her life instead of staying in a situation that was draining her. That is not a weakness. It is a choice. The audience, however, does not always see it that way. People like clear stories with winners and losers. They like simple explanations, but real life is not that simple. There are many layers to every decision, and not all of them are visible. There are also outside influences that have affected this situation. Relationships, misunderstandings, and tensions between different people have all played a role. When trust is broken, it becomes hard to work together. That affects opportunities, communication, and future plans. All of these factors come together to shape what is happening now. It is not just one reason, it is many reasons connected together. Timing, personal choice, production decisions, and audience reaction are all part of the same picture. Another thing that stands out is how quickly public opinion can change. One moment, someone is being praised. The next moment, they are being criticized. This shift can happen very fast, and it is often based on limited information. Melody is going through that shift right now. She is being looked at in a different way than before. That does not mean her value has changed. It simply means the focus has changed. Value and visibility are not the same thing. A spin-off increases visibility, but it does not automatically define success. Success can also come from independence, stability, and long-term planning. In those areas, she still appears to be strong. The problem is that people often connect success with what they can see immediately. If something is not visible, they assume it is not happening. But that is not always true. A lot of important moves happen behind the scenes. As time goes on, this situation will continue to develop. New information will come out, new decisions will be made, and the direction may change again. That is the nature of reality television and public attention. Right now, what we are seeing is a moment of transition, a moment where expectations are being challenged, a moment where the story is not as clear as people want it to be. Some people will continue to believe that Melody missed her chance. Others will start to see that there is more to the situation than it first appears. Both views will exist at the same time, and the conversation will continue. In the end, the real reason behind the slow movement of her spin-off is not simple. It is a mix of many things. Storylines, timing, personal decisions, and production strategy all play a role. Stormy moving forward does not mean Melody failed. It simply means they are on different paths that were shaped by different situations and different choices. Understanding that difference is important, because without it, the story becomes unfair and incomplete. And when a story is incomplete, it leads to confusion. For now, all anyone can do is watch how things unfold. Because in situations like this, the full picture only becomes clear over time.